Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to today's video. My name is Chris. I'm a creative entrepreneur, and in today's video, I'm going to teach you my invoicing method that I use because essentially what happened was, business, people think they have more money than they do on problems, and essentially what happened was I found myself chasing invoices after completing the work, and not only completing the work, but doing a really good job and getting a quick delivery around just to be met with people I'm sending them texts like, hey, the project's done. Did you get the email? And they're like, nothing. And I'm like, okay, are they running away on me? Are they trying to take my money? Like, what's happening here? And then it just got to a point where I found myself chasing invoices, and I was like, I'm never going to chase an invoice ever again. And I came up with this method. And then the flip of that was I had a lot of people canceling shoots last minute, changing the days, and I'd set that day and that time aside for them. And then essentially I was like, that's really screwed up that you just canceled on me last minute. I know something maybe happened on you, but I turned down 2 jobs that day, and I could have made a lot more money, and now I'm making 0 money. And that's not a good feeling to have, and it brings up pessimism, resentment, and anger, and those aren't good vibes to have as a creative. You want to be as happy and optimistic and cheerful as you can. And plus, it's also nice to work on projects and have the runway instead of working on projects wondering if you're going to be eating tomorrow or if you're going to have enough money for rent and all these other factors. And I even share that with clients whenever I'm bidding projects or whenever I send them my payment terms. I'm like, all right, so here's my terms, which I'll share with you here in a minute. Here's my terms. Here's why we have this. And let me know if you guys, well, I don't even say that. Let me know if you guys can respect it. But I put it out there in a way that I was like, I just want to be transparent of why I do this, because essentially it creates more value for you, because it will essentially let me have less stress and more creativity to create a better product for you. That's how I put it out there. And it's like, dang, how can you not accept that? So let's do it. Let's talk about what I actually do here. So what I do whenever my payment terms, after I've landed a project, or before, even when I put out my proposals, these are in my proposals, I make sure I put my payment terms so there's no ambiguous nature here of the job. And I'm like, all right, so here's the project. Here's what I'm bidding it at. Let's say it's $6,000. So I bid the project at $6,000. Below that, I'll put the payment terms, and I'm saying 50% of the project budget is due to book the dates for this shoot. And this is non-refundable. And as I mentioned, that was the first pain in the butt client I had that kept canceling shoots last minute. And it was just a pain in the butt. I was like, are we even going to be doing jobs? But with this, and it's worked very well. So for instance, if a project budget is $6,000, I charge $3,000 before I even start working on anything for the project. And that has to hit the bank account. Not only be paid, but it hits the account. And then I'm like, all right, now let's get started. And essentially what I do there, and then I add in the terms too of if at any time we cancel a shoot day, it's a $250 fee that needs to be paid before we start shooting the project, because that also keeps people from canceling. And if you set up these rates, it doesn't come off as nickel and diming. It's a really strong structure of if you want, a high quality product, you gotta A, pay for it, and B, you gotta respect the terms here, because I'm the artist and I also know business unlike a lot of other artists. And that's what I'm like, you wanna play a little business game? But I don't approach it like that. It's just these are the rules to engage with my business. So back to the video though. So say the project budget is $6,000, I charge half and a non-refundable deposit, because sometimes shoots do get canceled and I set the dates and times, and then I'm like, yeah, sorry, I just turned down more work and I didn't get paid for that. So that's a protection. Number 2, what it does is it gives you runway to start the project. So now I have $3,000 in my account. So I have money to essentially hire somebody if I need to. I have money to buy some gear if I need to, just to have a higher quality. And I also have money to live a comfortable life. I don't have to worry about groceries. I don't have to worry about paying rent. I don't have to worry about all the stressors of life because I have money in the account. What I have to worry about is not spending that money frivolously before the project gets done. But I don't think that's an issue. That's just for somebody out there who might not, who likes to spend money, that might be your caution. So then the second term of the payment is the second 50% of the shoot, or of the project budget, is due at the end of shoot, and editing doesn't start until I'm paid for that full budget. And essentially what this is built from is, one time I finished a project. It was a big project. It was $12,500, and I was literally chasing the guy for the last $2,000, and it was not fun. And I'd finished the work, and then I had another project that I essentially filmed a day as a shooter, and then I sent my invoice and didn't get paid, and finally got paid 2 months later, and I was like, screw this. So what this does is create a bulletproof process that essentially I get paid before the shoot starts, and then as soon as we finish the shoot, I get paid for the rest. And then what I do is say that I'll deliver the first edit within 2 weeks. So I give them something that they can feel accountable for, or something that holds me accountable to make sure I'm using Parkinson's law, which is like X amount of time to get you something done, right? And then they're looking out for it then. And sometimes I have had clients too that actually delayed the editing process. So then that is an exception to that agreement. And I did stress about that one a little bit. I was like, oh gosh, I said I'd deliver this in 2 weeks, but they weren't responding back on stuff, and they were a big part of the editing process. So in knowing that, like, also know that, you know, communication and sending emails can cover your butt on this stuff too. Or you can even put in that clause in your contract and say, like, delivery is within 2 weeks of completion of filming, or first edit delivery is within 2 weeks of the, you know, last day of filming. And then with parentheses, well, I don't think you could put parentheses, but you could say exclusions do apply if communication is, you know, broken down, or, you know, put in some kind of clause there in relation to communication, because you don't want it to fall back on you because you did put it in a contract, you know. But if you send an email and you're asking them, like, and even in sending an email, like, that covers your butt, like, all right, project's, you know, ready for revision. If they don't answer back, like, that gives you X amount of days to add on to your 2 weeks. So, but let's recap this. So if you're creating invoices for a project, what you need to do first is set a project budget. And if you guys don't have a budget and you work hourly, make sure you watch the previous video. I might be able to put it up here. So charge an hour or a project budget. So then you're going to take 50% of that budget and have it as a non-refundable deposit to set the dates. And you don't start even setting the dates and stuff until that deposit hits your account. Then the second payment term is going to be the second 50% of the project. So another $3,000 that's due at the end of filming or the completion of work before editing. And then you're going to make sure that you put in the terms that you'll deliver the first draft within 2 weeks. So essentially what this is going to do is allow you to be paid before you start the project and before you finish the project. So you have all the runway, or essentially money, coming in to you for all the resources that you'll need for this shoot and everything else that you'll need in order to make it happen, to create the best project, have the less stress possible, so that you can put out the best, highest quality product for your clients to continually grow your brand. Woo! Let's go, guys. Peace out. Have a good day. Make sure you ask any questions below or shoot me a direct message on Instagram at BigFishKC. Peace out, y'all. Have a good day.